believe it. Is that really you?
What happened?
Things change. I didn't expect you to see me like this.
The Lagos sun was angry that afternoon. Heat danced above the busy street. In the middle of all that noise, a black Range Rover rolled to a slow stop near a small roadside car wash. On the driver's seat sat a man. His name was Jadenna. At first, he was only looking for a place to turn, but then his eyes froze. There, beside a dusty SUV, was a young woman bent over a bucket of foaming water. Her ash t-shirt was old and torn at the shoulder. Her jeans were stained with mud and soap. Her slippers looked like they could break at any moment. Sweat rolled down the side of her face as she scrubbed the tire over and over. "Washna, 500 naira. Full body wash." Another boy was shouting to passers-by. But the woman did not shout. She just kept washing, slowly, like someone who carried the whole world on her back. Something squeezed inside Jadenna's chest. No, it cannot be. He leaned forward, eyes narrowing behind the sunglasses. The shape of her face, the way she held the sponge, the small scar near her left eyebrow that he remembered very well. His heart began to beat fast. It was her. Clara. The same Clara who once called him too broke. The same Clara who laughed at him in front of her friends. The same Clara who walked away from his life 10 years ago. Here, washing cars. For 500 naira. His fingers tightened around the steering wheel, knuckles turning white. For a moment, he could hear nothing else. No buses, no shouting, no street music, only the echo of her old words in his head. "Jadenna, I cannot marry a broke boy. You have dreams, but dreams cannot pay rent. I need a man who has money now, not one who is still hustling." He swallowed. Hard. On the street, a hawker knocked on his window. "Oga, gala. Minerals." Jadenna did not move. His eyes were still on Clara. She had not seen him yet. She was still bent over the tire, her hands shaking a little as she scrubbed. Every few seconds, she wiped sweat from her forehead with the back of her hand and looked around as if afraid someone would chase her away. 10 years ago, she was the girl who wore expensive wigs and designer handbags. Now, her hair was rough and tired, packed back in a small, messy bun. "What happened to you?" he whispered, more to himself than to anyone else. The question burned inside him. For a long moment, he stayed inside the car, hidden by the tinted glass, watching her. He could just drive away. He could pretend he never saw her. He could also step out, laugh and say, "Who is broke now?" The thought came for a second, then died. Instead, something softer rose inside him. A mix of sadness, shock, and a strange kind of fart, pain. He removed his sunglasses slowly. His reflection disappeared from the glass. Only Clara remained. Then, with one deep breath, Jadenna's hand moved to the door handle. He pushed it open and stepped out into the burning Lagos heat, and as the door shut behind him, the story of how he became this man began to replay in his mind. 10 years earlier, there was no black Range Rover, no navy blue kaftan, no cool air conditioner, just a slim young man with dusty shoes and a laptop that always wanted to die. Back then, Jadenna was a fresh university graduate, living in a tiny one-room apartment with cracked walls and a shaky ceiling fan. The room smelled of old books, noodles, and dreams that were bigger than his pocket. He believed in code. He believed he could build something with his computer that the world would one day pay for. But the world did not seem to care. Every morning, he woke up before the sun, said a short prayer, and opened his second-hand laptop. He learned how to write better code. He sent CV after CV to tech companies. Some never replied. Some said, "We are sorry." Some said nothing at all. The only bright part of his day was Clara. Clara was beautiful, dark-skinned, tall, always smelling of sweet perfume. She worked at a bank and loved to post photos on social media showing her outfits and plates of fancy food. When they first met, she liked his kindness. She liked the way he listened when she spoke. She liked his soft voice when he told her about his dreams. "I want to build a big tech company," he told her one evening as they walked down a quiet street. "Not just a small one. I want something that will solve problems in Africa and also work in other countries." She laughed and tapped his forehead gently. "You and this your dream. I just want us to live a simple, good life. House, car, trips, you know? We will, he said, smiling. Maybe not today, but one day. At first, she smiled with him, but as months passed, her smiles became smaller. One day, they sat in a restaurant. She wore a new gold watch. He had saved money for that meal, just to make her happy. Clara, he said softly, my friend abroad wants to connect me with a foreign startup. If it works, I can travel and work with them. It may take time, but… She dropped her fork and sighed loudly. Everything with you is… It may take time, Jadenna, she said. I am tired. He blinked, confused. What do you mean? I mean, I am 24. I cannot keep waiting for a man who still shares one small apartment with rats and cockroaches. She snapped. Look at my friends. They are dating men who drive cars, who can fly them to Dubai. His face burned. Clara, you know I am trying. You know where I came from. Just give me time. She leaned back, crossed her arms, and shook her head. You are too broke, Jadenna. Love cannot pay school fees. Love cannot pay hospital bills. Love cannot fill my tank. I need a man who has money now, not later. The word broke hit him like a stone. People at the next table were starting to look. Clara, lower your voice, he whispered. Why? She shot back bitterly. Are you ashamed that I am telling the truth? He sat there, with his heart breaking in slow motion. That night, she walked out of the restaurant, out of the street, and out of his life. Later, he heard she was dating a rich businessman who drove a big car and always wore suits. People said she was happy. People said she often mocked her old broke ex-boyfriend. For a long time, her words sat in his chest like fire. He could have turned bitter. Instead, he turned his pain into fuel. He worked harder, he sent more applications. Finally, one foreign tech company replied. They liked his code. They offered a remote contract, then later invited him abroad. The first time he sat in an airplane, his hands shook. He looked out of the window at the clouds and thought, one day, I will come back, and I will not be the same. Years passed. His ideas grew. His code turned into real products. He did not sleep much. He failed many times, but he kept going. Slowly, money started to come. Then more. Then more. One day, his company was valued in millions of dollars. Then hundreds of millions. People called him young tech genius. Investors called him a rare mind. He still felt like the boy in the one-room apartment who only had a laptop and hope. And now, 10 years later, that boy was standing on a noisy Lagos street beside a black Range Rover, staring at the woman who once called him too broke. A splash of water pulled him back to the present. Clara had just dunked the dirty sponge into the bucket. As she lifted it, some water slipped out and splashed near his shoes. She gasped and stepped back quickly, still not looking at his face. Sorry, sir, I did not see, she began. Then she looked up. Their eyes met. Time stopped. Her mouth fell open. The sponge slipped from her hand and dropped back into the bucket with a soft splash. Her fingers began to shake. The man in front of her was taller now. His shoulders were broader. His caftan was clean and expensive. His watch alone looked like it could buy the whole car wash. But the eyes, those were the same eyes. Jadenna? She whispered, voice breaking. Around them, the street went on screaming and moving, but it felt like the whole world had gone silent and was listening. Jadenna looked at her, his face calm, but his heart loud in his chest. The broke boy she once rejected was now standing in front of her. He opened his mouth to speak, and that was the moment everything in Clara's life was about to change. For a long second, nobody moved. Even the street noise felt like it was holding its breath. Clara's lips trembled as she stared at the man who once begged her to believe in his dreams, the same man she mocked, the same man she walked away from without looking back. Now he stood in front of her, tall, confident, and shining in a way she never imagined. Her throat went dry. Her fingers curled quickly behind her, as if hiding the torn parts of her shirt could erase the truth of how far she had fallen. Jadenna, she whispered again, breath shaking. He looked at her gently, not angry, not proud, just calm, too calm. Hello, Clara, he said quietly. Just her name. Soft, almost warm. That softness hurt her more than any insult he could ever throw. Clara stepped back slowly, as if trying to disappear. "No, no. This cannot be you," she murmured. You can't be this." Her eyes travelled from his freshly cut hair to his clean kaftan, to the watch on his wrist, to the black Range Rover that looked brand new under the sun. "You came back?" she whispered, voice trembling. To Lagos?" He nodded. "For business, and to see family." Clara swallowed hard. Her hands were still trembling, and she hid them behind her back. The supervisor of the car wash shouted from behind, "Clara, stop standing there. Wash the man's car, I beg." A few people nearby turned to look. Two young boys paused their football. A woman, frying puff-puff, slowed her stirring. Nobody knew who Jadenna was, but they could feel the tension. Clara's eyes widened with shame. Her chest rose and fell quickly. But Jadenna's gaze stayed calm. "You don't have to wash my car," he said quietly. Her eyes snapped up. "Please. I need the money," she said quickly, almost breathlessly. "Let me wash it. I will do it well." Her voice cracked. That broke something inside him. "No, Clara," he said gently. "You don't need to wash my car." She froze, confusion and fear mixing on her face. Tears were already burning in her eyes, but she tried hard to blink them away. He took a small step, closer. "What happened to you?" he asked softly. That question, simple, quiet, hit her like a hammer. She tried to smile, but her lips shook. "It's nothing," she whispered. "Life just was not fair to me." He waited, silent, patient, and something inside her broke. With a shaking breath, Clara finally said the words she had been hiding for years. Before her voice came out fully, her mind ran back to the past fast, painful, like a movie she never wanted to watch again. After she left Jadenna, her life was good for a while. The rich businessman she dated spoiled her. She wore expensive wigs, ate at fancy restaurants, and boasted to her friends. She felt like she made the right choice. But everything changed the day she found out her rich boyfriend had a wife and children. He was never going to marry her, never going to build a life with her. And when she got pregnant, he denied her completely. Her family turned against her. Her parents said she brought shame to the house. She had to leave. She lost the baby from stress and lack of care. Then she lost her job. Then her father died, and her mother became sick. One by one, everything she thought she controlled slipped from her hands like sand. She ended up living with her younger siblings in a tiny single-room apartment close to a noisy mechanic workshop. Every morning, she woke up before dawn to look for any job she could find. One day, a friend told her about a small car wash that paid 500 naira per wash. She took it. She did not have a choice. Her slippers broke last week, and she tied them with a rubber band. Her clothes were old. Her hands hurt from scrubbing. But she had to keep going. For her siblings, for survival, for life. All these memories flooded her eyes with tears. She wiped her face quickly, but tears still escaped. "I lost everything, Jadenna," she finally whispered. Her voice cracked. The sentence seemed too heavy for her small, tired body. "My father died. My mother got sick. And then, the man I chose over you, he chose someone else over me." She laughed weakly, a sad, broken laugh. "Life punished me, Jadenna." Her knees felt weak. "I lost the baby, lost my job, lost our house, until car washing became the only way I could feed my siblings." She lowered her head. "I did not expect you to ever see me like this." People around pretended not to listen, but their ears were wide open. Jadenna's eyes softened. He had expected anger. He had expected pride. He had expected excuses. But not this. Not this broken version of Clara. He sighed quietly. "Clara, you should have told me. You should have asked for help." She shook her head quickly, ashamed. "I could not," she whispered. "After how I treated you. I didn't deserve your help." He took one slow breath. Her shoulders were shaking. Her eyes were full of pain she had been carrying for years, pain she never allowed anyone to see. Then came the moment that shocked everyone watching. Jadenna reached into his pocket and pulled out his wallet. Clara jumped back. "No, Please don't pity me. Please, I'm begging you. I'm not pitying you, he said gently. I'm helping you. Her eyes widened. Her breath stopped. He stretched out a bundle of money, clean, new notes, more than she had held in her hands in months. I'm paying for your time today, he said softly. Not for the car, for your time, because you deserve at least that. Clara's lips parted, but no sound came out. She could not understand. This was not revenge. This was not pride. This was kindness, a kindness she never showed him when he needed it most. Her tears fell freely now, dripping onto her dusty slippers. But that was only the beginning, because Jadenna was about to do something even bigger, something that was going to change her entire life forever. His hand reached for his car door, and a new twist began forming right behind him, one that Clara didn't see coming at all. Jadenna was about to speak again when a loud shout exploded from behind him. Clara, where is the money from the last car you washed? A man with a potbelly and a greasy t-shirt marched toward them, wiping his oily hands on a dirty rag. His voice burst across the street like thunder. Clara flinched so hard that even Jadenna turned quickly. The man stomped forward, eyes blazing. It was her car wash supervisor, Bello. How many times will I tell you, woman, I am not running charity here, he barked. If you don't have my 500 naira, you are not leaving here today. Clara shrank backward like a frightened child. Her hands trembled, her lips shook. She opened her mouth, but no words came out. Her eyes darted around, fear everywhere in them. Jadenna frowned deeply. Something about the way the man shouted, the way Clara reacted. It wasn't normal. How much does she owe you? He asked calmly. Bello turned to him sharply, finally noticing the man in clean kaftan. And who are you? He snapped. Clara panicked. Bello, please, stop. Don't talk like that. But Bello wasn't stopping. He stepped closer to Jadenna, eyes bold, shoulders lifted like a man ready to fight. You think because you wear sunglasses and drive big car, you can poke nose in my business? He spat. Clara covered her mouth, shaking. Please don't do this. Please. People nearby started gathering. A small crowd formed, whispering, watching. Street drama spreads fast in Lagos. But Jadenna remained calm. I'm asking again, he said softly. How much does she owe you? Bello smirked and raised his voice, wanting people to hear. She owes me 10,000 naira. If she doesn't bring it today, I will seize her bucket, her sponge, everything. Clara gasped. Her eyes widened with panic. Sir, please. I only owe 5,000. I said 10. Bello barked, silencing her. Jadenna blinked once slowly. Something darkened in his eyes. Not anger, not pride. Something protective. He reached into his wallet again. The crowd leaned closer. He pulled out folded notes, way more than 10,000. Bello's mouth opened slightly. This should cover 10,000, Jadenna said, handing the money to him calmly. And also cover her job. Bello froze. What do you mean, her job? I'm paying you so she doesn't have to come here anymore, he said. Not today. Not tomorrow. Not ever again. A wave rippled through the crowd, small gasps, murmurs, shocked eyes bouncing between them. Clara grabbed her chest. No, Jadenna, please, don't. I need this job. I don't have anywhere. No, Clara, he said gently. You don't need this job. Not anymore. Her breathing turned shaky, confused, afraid. She felt like the ground beneath her was breaking, open. Bello, meanwhile, was frozen, his eyes on the money. His greed won. He snatched it. But before he could celebrate, Jadenna added, And if you shout at another worker like that again, I will make sure this entire car wash is shut down by next week. Bello choked mid-smile. Who do you think you are? Jadenna stepped closer, lowering his voice. The man who now owns the land your car wash is standing on. The street erupted. People gasped loudly. Someone shouted, Ah, Wahala Don burst. Bello's face turned pale. You own... What? I bought it last year, Jadenna said calmly. Maybe you should read your landlord's letters. Bello staggered back like someone hit him with a chair. The crowd's whispering turned into soft laughter. Clara covered her mouth, tears spilling again. I didn't know, Bello stuttered. You don't need to know, Jadenna replied. Just treat people better. He turned away, ending the conversation like a king ending a meeting. Then he faced Clara. Her eyes were full, fear, shock, shame, confusion, and something else, something fragile. She whispered, "Why are you doing all this?" He inhaled slowly. "Because helping you doesn't make me weak," he said. "It only makes me human." Her tears flowed again. Then came the moment that broke her completely. He placed a hand gently on her shoulder, not romantic, not proud, just soft, steady, warm. "Clara, I want to take you somewhere," he said. She blinked rapidly, stepping back a little. "No, I can't. I look too dirty. I don't want anyone to see me like this." "It doesn't matter how you look," he replied. "Just come." Her lips shook, her whole body shook. She wanted to run, she wanted to hide, she wanted to disappear. But something told her to follow him. Then a small hand tugged Clara's shirt from behind. Her youngest brother David, age 9, stood there with big, scared eyes. "Auntie Clara, are we going to eat today?" Clara froze, her breath caught. Her hands covered her mouth. This was the twist nobody expected. Jadenna's eyes softened instantly. He crouched down gently. "Hi," he said to the boy with a warm smile. "What's your name?" "David." The boy whispered, clutching Clara's leg. "I'm hungry." Clara broke down. "I'm sorry," she cried. "I didn't want you to see this part of my life." Jadenna looked at both of them. Something made a sharp turn inside him. Something deeper than forgiveness. "Clara," he said softly, "I'm not only helping you anymore." He stood up straight. "I'm helping your family too." Clara's knees almost gave out, but before she could respond, a new voice appeared from behind, a voice filled with shock. "Jadenna? Is that really you?" Clara and David turned sharply. Standing a few feet away was someone neither of them expected to see at that moment. Someone tied deeply to Jadenna's past, and someone who was about to change the direction of the story again. Clara wiped her eyes quickly and turned toward the voice that called out. The crowd shifted. People stepped aside, and then walking toward them slowly was a woman in a fitted charcoal blouse and neat office trousers, her handbag hanging on her shoulder. Her name was Mrs. Adesawa, Clara's former boss, the same woman who fired her 2 years earlier. Her eyes were wide with shock. Her mouth hung slightly open as she stared at the man standing beside Clara. "Jadenna?" she said again, almost whispering. "Is this really you?" Clara froze. David hid behind her legs. Jadenna lifted his head calmly. "Yes, ma'am," he said politely. "Mrs. Adesawa blinked fast and covered her mouth. "My goodness. You look completely different. I can't believe this is the same young man who used to deliver food to our office back then." Clara tensed. Hard, she remembered. She remembered everything. Back when Clara was still working as a receptionist, she had once found Jadenna outside the office waiting for her. She didn't want her boss to see her poor boyfriend, so she lied. "He's just a delivery boy," she had said loudly. She knew he heard it. He never mentioned it again. Now the same boss was standing right here, watching everything. Clara wished the ground would open and swallow her. But Mrs. Adesawa wasn't done. She stepped closer, her eyes filled with the kind of respect one gives to powerful men. "I saw you on the news last week," she said excitedly. "They said you now own one of the fastest-growing tech companies in the United States." The crowd gasped. Clara's hand flew to her mouth. Her legs nearly gave out. "You saw... what?" she breathed. "Yes," the woman continued proudly. "His company just signed a global partnership deal. He's now one of the youngest tech billionaires of African origin." Clara staggered. Her world began to spin. Her heart thudded like a drum in her chest. "He's a billionaire?" she whispered to herself. "He's the billionaire? The billionaire people talked about on radio? The billionaire who funded scholarships for students? The billionaire who bought 3 tech startups in 1 year? Her Jadenna, the broke boy, she mocked? She covered her mouth and sobbed. Meanwhile, Mrs. Adesawa wasn't paying attention to her. Her eyes were on Jadenna, glowing with admiration. "It is an honor to see you again," she said warmly. "I always knew you were brilliant, but I did not know you would become this." Jadenna smiled politely. "Thank you, ma'am." Then she lowered her voice. "Is this woman," she pointed at Clara with a frown, "bothering you? I hope she isn't disturbing you, sir." Clara's heart dropped to the floor. The shame almost killed her. Jadenna glanced at Clara. Her shoulders were shaking. David clung to her shirt. He inhaled deeply. "No, ma'am," he said. "She is not disturbing me." Clara slowly lifted her face. "She is someone important," he added softly. Mrs. Adesewa blinked. "Important? Clara?" "Sir, Clara washed the office toilets when she worked with us. And even that," I said. Jadenna repeated gently but firmly, "She is someone important." The street went silent again. Even the cars passing slowed down to listen. Clara covered her mouth as tears streamed down her cheeks. No one, not even her family, had spoken for her like this in a very long time. Mrs. Adesewa cleared her throat awkwardly. "Ah. Well. If she is important to you, sir, then I apologize." She straightened her handbag and stepped back. "But please, if you ever need anything, our company would be honored to work with you." She handed him her card. "Have a great day, Mr. Jadenna." And with that, she walked away, leaving Clara standing there, shaking violently, tears dripping from her chin. As soon as the woman disappeared into the traffic, Clara dropped to her knees. "Why?" she cried. "Why are you defending me? Why are you helping me? I don't deserve this." Her hands clutched the ground, her shoulders trembled, her tears fell like rain. David tried to pull her up. "Auntie, please stand." But she couldn't. Her shame was too heavy. Jadenna crouched down slowly so his eyes could meet hers. "Clara," he said softly, "your past mistakes don't make you less human." She shook her head. "But I hurt you, I humiliated you, I left you, I chose money over love. I don't deserve forgiveness." He smiled faintly. "Clara, forgiveness isn't something people earn. It's something people give." She burst into more tears. His voice remained gentle. "You once said I was too broke for you," he continued. "But the truth is, I was never angry about that. What hurt me was how little you saw in yourself." She looked up slowly, confused. "In myself?" "Yes," he nodded. "You thought the only way to live well was to chase someone who already had money. You never believed you could build something with someone. You never believed in your own worth. That is what life punished, not you." Her breath caught in her throat. "You are not a terrible person," he whispered. "You were just afraid. And fear makes people choose wrongly." Tears poured down her face uncontrollably now. Then he stood up and stretched his hand toward her. "Come," he said. She stared at his hand, unsure. He added softly, "Let me help you stand. Let me help you start again." For a moment, she didn't move. Then slowly, very slowly, she placed her trembling hand into his. He lifted her up with a steady, strong grip. When she finally stood, still crying, he said, "Clara, you and your siblings are coming with me. Today." Her eyes widened. "What?" "I'm taking you somewhere safe," he replied. "You will not sleep in that old room tonight." Her chest tightened. But where?" she whispered. "A place where your life will change." He turned toward the Range Rover, but before she could take a step, another voice suddenly called out loudly from the side, a male voice filled with anger, jealousy, and something darker. A voice that made Clara gasp in fear. "Clara, what are you doing with that man?" She froze. Jadenna stopped walking. David hid behind her. Everyone turned toward the sound. Standing at the edge of the crowd was a man Clara hoped never to see again. Her ex-boyfriend, the one who ruined so much of her life, the one she prayed would never find her again, and he was marching toward them with fire in his eyes. Clara's heart dropped. Her breath stopped. Her fingers tightened around David's hand. Walking angrily toward them was the last person she wanted to see. Femi, tall, rough-looking, with angry eyes and a chest rising with rage. The man who lied to her, used her, left her broken, the reason she lost everything. He pushed through the crowd, shouting loud enough for the whole street to hear. "Clara, I have warned you never to walk away from me. Who is this man? Jadenna stepped slightly forward, his expression calm but sharpened like steel. Clara was shaking. David hid behind her. Femi, please, she whispered. Don't cause trouble here. But trouble was already walking toward them with fast steps. People stepped back. They knew drama when they saw one. Femi pointed at her face, breathing hard. So this is what you're doing? After everything I did for you. Clara flinched. Her tears returned immediately. You did nothing for me, she whispered with shaking voice. You destroyed me. Gasps rose from the crowd. Femi's face twisted in anger. You useless woman. After all the money I spent on you, you dare. You spent money on her? Jadenna cut in calmly. She told me you left her when she needed you most. Femi turned sharply, sizing Jadenna up for the first time. Who are you? He demanded aggressively. Jadenna didn't raise his voice. He didn't step back. I am the man who is helping the woman you destroyed. The crowd erupted again. People whispered loudly. Femi scoffed. Help? You think she deserves help? This girl is a mistake. She is. Don't say it. Jadenna's tone dropped soft but dangerous. It was the kind of voice that made even the wind stop moving. You do not speak about her like that, he said. Not today. Not ever again. Something about the quiet strength in his voice made Femi pause. But ego pushed him forward again. What will you do? Femi sneered. You think you're small money. Femi, leave, Clara whispered, her voice breaking. For the first time in years, someone sees me as a human being again. Don't take this moment from me. Those words hit her ex-boyfriend like a slap. He stepped back, confused at the new strength in her voice. And then something unexpected happened. A policeman who had been buying puff-puff nearby suddenly approached. What is happening here? He asked firmly. The crowd immediately pointed. That man. He is disturbing them. He's been shouting at the woman. He nearly hit her. Femi panicked. Officer, it's not like that. But the policeman raised a hand. Sir, you're causing public disturbance. Leave now or follow me to the station. Femi's eyes darted from Clara to the policeman to the crowd, then to Jadenna, who still stood calm and unbothered. He hissed, stepped back, and spat on the ground. This is not over, Clara, he muttered. Oh, it is, she replied softly. For me it is over. And with that, Femi turned and disappeared into the crowd. The street exhaled. Clara collapsed into quiet sobbing years of fear, releasing at once. David hugged her waist tightly. Jadenna finally stepped closer. It's okay now, he said gently. You're safe. She wiped her face with the back of her hand. Thank you. I don't know why you're doing all this. He smiled softly. Because nobody deserves to fight life alone. And because someone once helped me when I had no hope. It's my turn to help someone else. Her tears came again, soft, warm, grateful tears, not the painful kind. Then he took a deep breath and spoke the words that would change everything. Clara, from today, your life will not be like this again. She shook her head, overwhelmed. I'm scared. What if I fail again? What if life crushes me again? Then we'll stand again, he said. That's what humans do. Clara covered her mouth, crying openly. Then Jadenna reached for his car door and opened it gently. He looked back at her. Come, let's go. Her legs felt weak, but she nodded slowly. Okay. He smiled. And bring David. David's eyes lit up like a bulb. Me too? Of course, Jadenna said. Your family. Clara nearly fell from tears again. The turning point. Minutes later, they arrived at a small but clean apartment building in Lekki Phase 1. Bright paint. Quiet compound. Security at the gate. When they stepped out, Clara looked around in shock. Where is this? Your new home, Jadenna replied. Her breath stopped. My what? He handed her a key. You and your siblings will stay here. No rent, no landlord threats, no hunger. She felt dizzy. Her hands shook as she held the key. Why would you do this? She whispered. Because life gave me a second chance, he said softly. and I want to give you yours." She burst into tears. Then he continued, "And tomorrow you will start working in one of my companies. Not as a cleaner, not as a car washer, but as a customer care assistant. You're smart, Clara. You deserve more." Clara dropped to her knees right there in the clean compound tiles. "Jadenna, I don't deserve this. I don't deserve you. I don't deserve anything." He gently knelt too. "It's okay. You will heal, slowly, and you will grow again." Then he handed her an envelope. She opened it with shaking hands inside. She was a check written in clean ink. 5 million naira. She screamed and covered her face. David gasped loudly. Her whole body shook. "What? What is this for?" she cried. "To start your own business," he said. "Something that belongs to you. Something no one can ever take from you again." Her tears splashed on the check. Then came the line that broke every heart in the crowd watching. "After all I did to you, you still gave me this?" She cried. "Why?" He smiled quietly. "Because the true revenge is to show kindness and prove that we are better than the people who wronged us." Clara collapsed into sobbing. Her head bowed to the ground, but they were not tears of shame anymore. They were tears of rebirth. Years later, Clara's grocery store, Clara's Fresh Haven, became one of the most trusted shops in Lekki. She grew it wisely, carefully, with dignity. And on the day Jadenna got married to Nadia, the quiet software engineer he met during a tech summit, the hall was full of joy. Clara sat at the back. She clapped softly as the couple walked down the aisle. She smiled, but tears slipped down her cheeks, not from pain, but from the kind of regret that becomes a gentle lesson. She imagined another life, one where she had believed in him before the world knew his name. But she also knew something important. Even if she couldn't go back to change the past, she could live with grace in the defilade, future. And she did. Her business grew, her family recovered, her heart healed. And every time she remembered that hot Lagos afternoon, one truth stayed with her. Kindness can rebuild a life faster than cruelty can destroy it. If you like this story, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel for more interesting stories.